Hello, everyone.
Smashing books over here.
Welcome to the Town of Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission. I'm Michael Riley, the chairman. It is October the 16th, 2025. It is 7:01 p.m. And please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry. Okay, thank you. We'll start by calling the roll, starting on my right.
Dominic Smerglino, alternate commissioner.
Dominic Benicia, alternate commissioner.
Brian Condon, Commissioner.
Leanne Ambrosio, Commissioner. Bruno Maini, Commissioner.
Alternate commissioner.
Kathleen Gallagher, Planning and Zoning Administrator.
Do you have anybody online for us?
For us,
Oh my. Stop.
I do believe William Holsworth, our Community and Economic Director, is listening in. And obviously, and for the record, it is 7:02 and Commissioner Westland has walked in.
Thank you. All right, we'll go to general public participation. If anybody from the public is here would like to address the commission on any issues that are not on the agenda tonight or would not be expected to be on the agenda in the near future, this is the time to do so. Please raise your hand, come on down, state your name and address at the podium, and please address the commission.
Good evening. My name is Brian Kosaki. I live at 1072 Monroe Turnpike. Massive high school football field is in my backyard. We share that property between us. And the issue is that the light from the football field is light pollution. And I've taken down some trees, dead trees, and tried to let nature take its course to regrow, but it's not been very fruitful. So I'm looking for some kind of help to remediate that issue and help to make us good neighbors.
Are you below grade there?
No, I'm above grade.
Above?
Yeah. The football field is way below. I have pictures if you need to see it.
Sure.
May I approach?
Yeah.
That's my backyard looking back at Massac.
But this light here is from your porch.
No, my lights were off. I wouldn't take a picture with the light on my porch.
It lights up your porch like that?
That's from the camera. I don't use the light when I'm trying to do that.
Okay.
I took a few pictures tonight, which if you scroll through, you'll see it in more daylight.
That's where the field is. This is this.
looks like this.
I'm sorry?
That's tonight?
The first picture was at night,
Okay.
but the camera, because of all this new technology, tries to light everything up.
Yeah.
But if you stood in my backyard, and I would invite somebody to come out to see firsthand, because the pictures, I took a few pictures today.
It's not
Recent. That's the one earlier this week, yes.
Okay.
And when the gentleman said that my porch light was
Yeah.
on, it was not.
Just the flash from the camera. Okay.
And my grandson. This was today. And that's the opening. See if we get a better picture here.
What time was that? Does it say? I know there's a game. I know there's a homecoming or a senior night tonight there.
Okay, so it's like.
So here you
Yeah,
go.
the soccer.
There's
soccer game
the
tonight.
lights from the lower football field. This is not the lights
Oh, yeah,
above.
I see.
You
Okay.
see that?
I see.
Every night it was like 9 or after that. Did you want
So
to see
it
that one?
looks like
Get
the
it.
field is at like 440, 442, and then the house is at 494.
Oh, yeah, he's above it then. He shouldn't
Yeah,
be getting
50
that much
feet.
light.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how tall those lights are, but athletic field lights are usually,
50 feet high.
it could be 40 feet tall. That wouldn't surprise me.
They're much more higher than that.
Yeah, it could even, I don't know what year they
walk
were
on the track
installed.
and it's-
Can we see the photos down here?
Yes, sir.
You can see the lights through his, you could see.
Need to be like down more? Is that something they can do with that?
This is, this evening, before I came
These are the
here.
new ones.
Those are the light, those are the lower lights. There's lights above that. And if you want to scroll right over, I'm not sure, but you'll see
They read-
earlier this week where the gentleman said my porch light was on.
Yeah.
It's like mid-80s, so initially,
That's pretty bright.
I'm saying the one's up 6 years ago.
But like I said, I would suggest if somebody could come out at night and see it for real, because the pictures are just,
Is it on all the time or just?
no, they're on every evening.
Every night they have it lit up.
Well, the issue is the town is limited on fields. So those lights
There we go.
provide for the kids.
No, it's
So
quite all right. Look, I can
It's
go
just,
to Monroe.
it's just potential of putting it screening.
some screening.
Yeah, if you look at that one, it's like, it's kind of.
Arborvitae's.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay.
How late or how long or like how late are the lights usually on until
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock?
Yeah. Now, look, I'm not looking for any issue here because I grew up in Monroe. I went to every public school here. And,
Oh, but we also, that's, maybe we could do something with some planting.
Find, I had a meeting.
We'll have the staff.
We could put some screens in there. See what we could do.
do whatever's cheap.
Have you talked to the Board of Ed yet? No.
I have not. I talked to Mr. Noonan,
Okay.
one of the commissioners
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
He's not
He
a.
asked me to come to the meeting tonight. He
Yeah.
said this is the best,
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe we'll find a way to talk to them.
There's no instant solution.
Okay, so what was your address?
Yeah.
It's 1072 Monroe Turnpike.
Okay, I'll have that.
And I bought that house 25 years ago and renovated it and put trees up in front to make it look beautiful. And I take care of my property. And that's why I took down the dead trees between the high school's property and mine, because I really wanted nature to take its course and grow, but it's not happening.
All right, we'll look into it for you. Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you. How will I stay in contact?
Nick Thomas.
Thomas and Kathleen are the best two people.
Okay, so I should contact him?
Probably Thomas would be the best.
Okay.
Talk to Thomas, no, not because I'm,
Yeah.
Okay, great. I thank you for letting me approach you.
So like street lights are about 65 feet tall. These are taller than that.
okay.
Sure.
All right, anyone else here that has any issues or complaints, et cetera, for the commission, please raise your hand. Anyone online, please press the raise my hand button. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to public hearings. First public hearing is ZCA zone boundary change for 909 Main Street. This is continued from 10 to 25. Kathleen has new exhibits, I believe.
You do look like you're getting a little low.
Since the last meeting, we have received the inland wetland report dated October 9th, 2025, stating that the commission determined that the proposed zone change is acceptable relative to potential for development, and they had no additional comments. I was in attendance to that meeting, and they were appreciative of the fact of the potential opportunity due to its proximity to wetlands to have it be more commercial as compared to industrial, which has a lesser potential of impact on the wetlands. And that was the main reason I believe that we had kept the public hearing open from the last meeting, was in order to get their referral out.
Yes. Okay, and just your name and address for the record, please.
Michael Porco. And I live at Big Shoe. I've owned the property for 25 years. And I'm here for a zone change.
So we have the last bit of information that we need. You all remember this?
Yes, yeah, we were just waiting on.
That's good. Okay.
Wait, now what?
Do we have any questions for the applicant?
I do not.
Kathleen? All right. You want to close the hearing at this point?
Just gotta-
Just do public participation, and then we should be able to deliberate on it towards the end of the meeting and have an answer for you tonight.
Yeah,
So it's changing the zone.
the acoustics. Could you repeat that?
Sit in the front then. Not right now. I mean, we'll deliberate on it tonight, probably have an answer for you tonight
Okay.
at the end, towards the end of the meeting, once we hear the other applications. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So for this application, we're going to open to public participation. This is a lot on Main Street, just south of the Newtown border on the right, if you're going south. Are there any comments from the public on this application? Any comments or questions from the public online? All right, if not, then we'll close this application. Thank you. We're going to go to the next public hearing, SCP 2025. This is a special exemption permit, 1565 Monroe Turnpike, Unit 2. This is, it's actually the first time we're hearing this. You didn't correctly post it, I believe. Commissioner Condon, is it
Yeah,
posted correctly this?
I think so. Yeah, it's different than usual, but, we have an application for special exception permit for 1565 Monroe Turnpike, Unit 2, wholesale distribution, public posted October 16th, 7 PM. No, sorry, to be held October 16th, 7 PM. Application number SCP 2025-06, file 1670. The hybrid meeting. This doesn't say when it was posted. I'm sorry.
What you have doesn't say when it was posted.
I've never seen something like this before. You guys threw a curveball.
Oh, because we made the applicant re-notice it because we had already noticed it once, so they paid the fee to do it again. So yes, but it was published in the C2 Voices twice per state statutes.
Connecticut Post twice.
I mean, yes,
Statute.
points. I still say voices, not me.
Back to you. Voices.
Good. Okay, thank you. Okay, do you have exhibits?
Exhibit number 1 is the application and plan set dated 9/10/2025. Exhibit number 2 is the health department comments by the town of Monroe Health Department, 9/23/25. Exhibit number 3 is EMS comments by the town of Monroe, 9/19/25. Exhibit number 4 is most recent as-built. Exhibit number 5 is the planning and zoning administrator report, and exhibit number 6 is the proof of certified mail receipts. And just to state that the Monroe Health Department exhibit that was mentioned had stated that the health department has no objection to this application. They did give some additional information of what would be required. Had no objection, and EMS had no comments as well. I had several comments that have been satisfied, and I'm happy to go into those in a little more detail at the appropriate time.
Okay, thank you. So name and address for the record, please.
My name is Omar Abi, and the address is 1565 Monroe Turnpike, Unit 2.
So just give us a brief rundown as to what you'd like to do.
Right, so
ahead.
been in business for also 15 years out of Brooklyn, New York. Recently moved about a year ago to Monroe, Connecticut, and this opportunity came to move my business closer to home. Found this space and actually signed a lease with Galbos Provisions. So we in the food business, actually the wholesale, warehousing, wholesale, and distribution of Mediterranean food products. We sell to retail stores, supermarkets, packers, co-packers, distributors as well.
So you'll be warehousing here?
Yes.
No production or?
No no production. Everything is done overseas.
Warehousing, distribution.
Distribution, that's correct.
Kathleen, what issues do we have with this? Any?
They are not proposing any site disturbance for the property. They are occupying an existing building in an existing space. I do believe, based on my conversations with the owner of the property, that this is the last vacant space that he has on the property. We were then able to do a full parking analysis for the site in order to make sure that there was parking available. The reason why he's here tonight is because wholesale distribution was not part of the original special exception permit that was originally approved by this commission. It only included uses such as warehousing. However, when we did the full review, on that site is Galbo Provisions, which is a warehouse use, My Color Events, which is a warehouse and storage use, Dwight Hall, which is an event space that was approved as part of a special exception permit in 2023, Bethel International, which is a place of religious worship use that was approved as part of an SEP in 2022, and Jadar Building and Sales Service, which is a retail use that was approved in 2023 with a special exception permit. So when we take all of those into consideration, including what was noted in the special exception permits related to Bethel International really only being used for Wednesday nights and Sunday services, which was noted, and the Dwight Hall, which is used for special events, they had enough parking in order to accommodate the last space. I did make note that if anything changes in the future, there might need to be a shared parking request from the applicant to it. But as it currently stands now, with this being their last location that was vacant, we believe that the parking can support the additional use and have no other comments at this time.
All right, then let's go to the commissioners for any questions on this. We'll start with my commissioners to the right.
You doing? I didn't quite hear you. So what are you selling?
Vegetarian goods.
Vegetarian goods?
Oil, olives, canned seafoods.
Okay. You said it's imported?
Imported, yes.
So everything's like cased up?
Everything, yes.
Yeah.
So
All
we
right.
need to ship here in the US.
What type of trucks will you be using?
Well, we have a cargo van and like a service for transit. That's basically it. We use third-party tracking. You know, if we have bigger shipping.
You need like a tractor trailer size?
We get tractor trailers for containers coming from overseas. That's like probably 10, 15 containers a year. That's the scope of unit there.
You get the large shipping containers?
Yeah, the 20, 40 footers, depending on.
Will they drop them, the whole container, or will you unload?
It's like we take receipt of the merchandise the same day within a span of 2 hours. So we unload it and put it in our warehouse.
Thank you.
Where was your business located before?
Brooklyn, New York. Bay Ridge, if you're familiar with that.
I have no more questions.
No questions.
You unload the containers on that property or?
Correct.
Done somewhere and then they
They have a dock and,
just go in and out? After you unload it, they remove the container right away?
oh, right away within 2 hours
Okay,
max.
that's fine, so
Because after 2 hours, they start charging us $50.
Yeah.
We try to do it.
good enough. Thank you, that's all I have.
Yeah, thank you.
No question.
So with this wholesale distribution, are there going to be any customers that are visiting the facility?
Not really, no. We have sales team that goes to customers.
Okay. And is there going to be a change in hours, operating hours?
Typically, it's between 8 to 5, occasionally 8 to 6, Monday to Friday.
So that's all I have.
When you do get the deliveries, 15 or so times a year, what time of day do they typically deliver?
Well, it depends on traffic because it's coming from the port of Jersey, but typically around 11.
During the day, never overnight? Okay. Okay. Just want to make sure if there's any beeping or noise.
No, it would
Okay.
be anywhere between 8 and 12.
Okay,
That's a little,
thank you. No other questions?
Okay, then let's go to the public, see if there's any comments. Anyone here tonight that would like to comment on this application, please raise your hand. Come on down.
Sure, just sit down until she's done.
Just
Thank
state
you.
your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Paula Kelly. I live at 290 Cottage Street. The old Stevenson lumber yard where 1565 is directly across from me, say the firehouse in front of me. And my first question is, who is responsible ultimately for the outside lights? The tenant or the property owner? I've already made 2 zoning complaints. The first time it actually got worse and the trees behind my house started to be lit up. And in the second zoning complaint, the trees stopped being lit up and the front of my house stopped being lit up. But the whole property, now, not my property, but 1565, 1585, 1545, it's just all lit up. And in the town council, they said they were supposed to be on timers. They're not on timers. And also, in the zoning requirements, it's supposed to be dark sky lighting. I've shown pictures to you for like the Monroe application, where the lights, they're floodlights. They're supposed to be dark sky lights, where they're supposed to be pointing down. So the first answer to question be answered is it this gentleman's responsibility for the lights by his space, or is it ultimately the property owner? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Jelly.
It's the property owner's responsibility. It was part of whatever original special exception permit that was done for this property. As tenants come in, they don't have any say on the exterior facade of the building.
That's an ongoing complaint, is it not?
Yeah, I can check in with Thomas. I think the issue ended up being that I agree with Ms. Jelly that lights are supposed to be dark sky compliant. I will tell you that since I've been here in the last 2 years, we've been extraordinarily diligent on it. That's why we make applicants submit cut sheets to you guys to make sure that they are exactly what she is saying. They're downward facing and shielded. What was approved as part of that original special exception permit, I don't actually believe they're that far off from what was approved. So it's hard for us to retroactively go back and ask for it. I do know that they have claimed that they have provided some additional shielding. I can follow up with him to see where he last left it, but I do know that he had went and visited the site to check out if it was in compliance with what was approved, which is really what we have to hold him on.
All right, so then we'll look into see if it is compliant with what was originally approved. Do we have anyone else here tonight that would like to comment on this application? 1565 Monroe Turnpike. Anybody online would like to comment on this application? All right, if not, then we'll go back to the applicant. Do you have anything else you'd like to add? All right, then we'll close this hearing, and later on tonight, we'll have a deliberation on it and we'll have an answer for you by then,
okay, so you have to wait or?
a couple hours.
It's up to you.
Yeah, but you don't have to wait.
You don't have to wait.
Okay,
Call tomorrow.
thank you very much.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
we'll let you know either way.
So that hearing is closed. Third hearing tonight, SCP 2025-05. This is 1536 and 1564 Monroe Turnpike, continued from 10/2/2025 225. And Kathleen, do you have any new exhibit? Are you going to conduct the deliberation to see what it's to? Up to you.
Okay. What do you guess? I don't know.
No, it's like everybody's.
No, it's just hold it in. You don't even know when it's going to go.
Exactly.
Unless you go quick when you just text me.
All right, exhibit 35, which is a letter from the neighbor dated October 3rd. Exhibit 36, an additional letter from the neighbor dated 10/6. 37, additional information correspondence between Deep and the neighbor related to the Sharpshin Hawk dated 10/7/25. Exhibit 38, updated memo by the Town of Monroe engineer James DeMayo dated 10/9/25. Exhibit 39, additional correspondence, an email letter dated 10/14/25. Exhibit 40, inland wetland site plan by Jason Edwards and Associates dated 10/15/25. Exhibit 41, storm drainage network hydraulic analysis and bond form by J. Edwards and Associates. Exhibit 42, additional letter from the neighbor dated today, 10/16/25. Exhibit 43 is a letter from the neighbor dated 10/16/25. Exhibit 44, a neighbor letter dated 10/16/25. Exhibit 45, a letter dated 10/6/15 came in last night, 25. So we did get several items in today, so I would direct the commission to look online, or we can provide you hard copies for those additional information.
Thank you. And let the record show Commissioner Ambrosi has recused himself, and we are going to continue with Commissioner Smirgliano on this application. All right. So we do have that new exhibit, I believe, the scope of work. Do you want to go into that?
So there has been several requests in the public comments for an independent review of the hydraulic analysis. So tonight I would like to bring the potential of hiring someone to do that to the commission's attention for their determination if they would like to move forward with it. If that is the case, the applicant is not here tonight because they knew that this was going to be a potential discussion topic, and therefore they're not going to present tonight. They're going to present at the next meeting when they can present all their information at one time, as well as any information related to potentially the peer review of the hydraulic assessment reports. I do have for your review, if it is something you want to entertain, what that potential scope of work would be. But I think at first we need to just talk about the potential determination of if this commission would like to move forward with a third-party review.
Okay, that's the feeling of the commissioners. Are you okay with getting a outside review of the hydrologist work?
The applicant would pay for it, correct?
Yes.
They use them already.
Yeah, was the first hydrogeologist licensed?
Yes, I mean, yes, she stated her credentials. She's the vice president of WSP. She was a geologist, hydrologist. She stated her credentials, and it's in the record.
That's a pretty incredible person.
It is.
Oh, so our next meeting is November 6th, which is in 3 weeks. There's 5 Thursdays in October, so it's a little bit different. So it's at the commission's discretion on whether you're comfortable having staff get the proposals and then make the decision to move forward with it in the essence of time. If you want to wait to make the determination yourself, we'd have to wait until the 6th, and then we'd be pushing it out, past that. So it can be myself and other staff. Or we can bring it back to this commission.
Could we potentially have this for the next meeting then, this review?
Because I was like literally just notified about this potentially being an option. It was just been a discussion in the last 24 to 48 hours. I have not reached out to anybody yet, so I'm not quite sure what people's availability or time frame are. I will tell us people are very busy, so there is a chance we can't turn it around in 3 weeks. We can try, we can always ask, but if not, then it would be for the November 20th meeting.
All right, so we do have time to do it. As far as the schedule goes, in 3 weeks, we wouldn't be over our time.
We're not over our public hearing timeframe, and for the next 3 weeks, we do have November 6th. After that, we have to ask for an extension, and based on some preliminary conversations with the applicant, I believe they would potentially be open to it. They have been notified that this was going to be, an item for discussion.
And remind me, if they're not open for an extension, what would happen?
I mean, if they require the commission to close the public hearing, the commission has the option to deny the application because they feel like they don't have enough information to make a determination. So more times than not, most applicants will let it be open because it's in everybody's best interest to make sure that the commission has all the information that they're asking for.
Okay, so what do you guys think?
We're not,
With it?
not sure how long it takes but is it a large cost?
So let's talk about the scope of work. So, I'm just going to read really one line here. So standard practice is we're not asking for a hydrologist to like independently do the work from scratch. That could take months. That could take 3 months to acquire all that information and do it as a true like independent, not even looking at the first report, their own review. What we typically do is when you have a consultant that was hired by the applicant that does have the credentials that WSP has and that Karen, who is here, has, really what we're asking is for someone to review it, to evaluate whether the applicant's conclusion, which is that they have stated that the 8 individually drilled wells and proposed infrastructure will not likely have an adverse effect on the groundwater quantity or quality for on-site or off-site users, that assumption is technically supported, consistent with best professional practices, and based on appropriate methodologies as assumptions for, industry standards. So we're really asking them to do a review of the report, which is similar to what we did for Turkey Roost and, for other projects that we've done here, we've asked them to do the third-party review of the report. So it's not months. I mean, I do think they can get the work done in weeks. It's just more of most people don't have the availability to drop whatever other commitments they've already made for the month to then, jump on this. So it would be trying to find someone who has the availability within that department of their company to be able to do this in a timely manner.
And because it's an assumption, we're never going to get an absolute answer on this.
You're never gonna, I mean, and even WSP didn't give you an absolute,
Right.
they gave you a statistic of, they felt like it was less than 5%.
I feel like the study's already been done, performed by a licensed hydrogeologist, and that's sufficient.
Commissioner Lupo?
I would support getting an independent third party to review the initial findings.
Okay, I would support it also. I'd like to do everything we can do to assure the neighbors that we are doing everything we can do. And while we're not going to have 100% answer, we are actually listening to them.
Yeah, we're never gonna know until they actually dig wells. And that's correct. That's unfortunate, but at least my understanding of kind of everything, but having somebody else, the peer review. And wasn't that similarly done for this project for wetlands? Was there an independent third-party review of the wetlands?
Yes, there was concerns about vernal pools and species and dusty salamanders and, because the road is crossing a wetland and doing disturbance. And we did have a third-party consultant.
Is the applicant willing to hire the consultant to review?
They have to pay for the consultant. We are going to be the ones that put the proposal.
They already had it done.
Yeah, they've done it already. They're doing it again now.
Sort of.
No, they're doing it again.
No, they're doing a review of what she did.
Right, okay.
They won't go and do what she did again.
Okay, so then to me, it's
The review is just as good because it's looking
Yeah,
at,
they're checking her work.
I think it's okay.
I'm in favor.
okay.
I
I think the applicants had enough proof that it would be safe, but, and to satisfy the neighbors, I think it's probably better.
You didn't get a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in favor of, I feel like when you hire a person with those kinds of credentials and licenses and, but I'm outvoted, so it
Looks
is
like
what
the
it is.
majority is to go ahead with this, Kathleen.
So with that being said, what I have in front of you is, what I had mentioned about the overall objective. It includes the review of the assessment report and all supporting materials, apps, any sort of data, soil data, reference well inventory, a review of the neighbors' concerns and of their letters that they have submitted in, review of relevant regulatory and reference materials. There's been a lot of conversations about code. I think some of the code that was referenced by the neighbors actually has to deal with public water supply, which isn't applicable here. So I'd like them to review those items. Evaluate the appropriateness of the applicant's assumptions regarding recharge rate selection, groundwater balance, consumptive use estimates, well interference, et cetera. Assess whether the conceptual model of groundwater flow direction, bedrock fracturing system is supported by available information. Verify that the cited well yield data was obtained appropriately and that additional supporting data could not be reasonably acquired. I know that that was a concern just about, was there any other way to get information because, well completion reports weren't able to be acquired. Independently review potential well interference using acceptable analytical methods. Review whether the applicant's hydrological conclusions are technically sound and sufficiently supported. We're requesting a written report of those findings and for them to attend one public commission meeting in person or virtual to present their findings and respond to any questions. And then there's a catch-all of just perform any additional review deemed necessary in the consultant's professional judgment to meet the objectives stated above, including without limitation, any other documents or testimony contained in the record, because I am not a hydrologist or an engineer or a PE. And so I do want to make sure that, they have a little bit of discretion to make sure that they're reviewing things in their professional opinion that they know above me.
Chairman, I have a question, point of information. They hired, I wasn't clear, they hired a consultant and he found whatever he had to find. She. Now we're saying that we don't trust her findings?
Correct.
We'd
like another opinion.
I think if she's a qualified consultant,
Vice president of the company.
where do we stop? Then we're gonna.
True.
Well, keep in mind, hiring this person to begin with was out of the ordinary.
Correct.
Correct,
You don't have to do that to begin with.
that's right.
And then the applicant, at his own expense, hired this person to come to these conclusions. Now, we're going to check those conclusions. And again, where does it stop? Do we now check the conclusions that were already checked?
We didn't make them hire that person.
No.
We voted no on their application. They came back to us and said, we've hired this person. That makes this a substantially different application. So at no point did we actually say, hire this person. We said, sorry, no.
So
And then they came back.
By saying no, we kind of told them to hire that person. Our no told them to hire that person.
They read into it that way, but
Well, they were
No,
denied- they were denied for a reason.
No, it was pretty clear.
The way the denial was written, and the denial can only be written based on what has been said at this meeting. And what was said at this meeting is that there was concern about public safety related to the well information and that this commission didn't have enough information in order to do that.
nature.
That is what prompted the additional information that.
But our no made them do that.
Yeah, cause and effect, but we didn't tell them to hire. I'm just saying, we're making it sound like we told them you have to go hire this person. No, we just said we weren't confident in the wells. They chose to do that to make us confident.
That's.
So the expert is their expert, and now the public is asking us to bring in an expert to represent us. So this way, we'll see both sides.
And we also had an expert in well drilling that hasn't seen this have an effect on on neighboring wells in his 50 years of experience.
That's correct.
Was he hired or he just
He just came in and spoke.
just came in
Yeah,
and
but he's
spoke?
also gonna make money by drilling their wells. We need to.
He was there.
Let's
Yeah,
be
he was
careful
still there
calling
like
it-
half an hour.
With that assumption.
Guys,
All right, so the question now is, what do we want in the scope of work? Is this sufficient?
All I say is if you're gonna make them do it, you better dot your i's and cross your t's, because this to me is a little bit more than it should be to start with. So what should be in there is everything. There should be no questions. There should be no leaf unturned. There should be no questions whatsoever when this person's done. That's my opinion, if you're gonna, since you guys want to go down this road.
Okay,
I don't want to start a precedent where we
But
don't,
it's already done.
we already doubt a professional report.
that's common. We've done this before, often. 64 Cambridge
very
Drive.
normal thing.
We've had experts on
Yeah,
experts.
that's
on
done.
experts.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
actually,
a precedent.
that's actually pretty common.
So are we okay with this scope of practice?
I don't know.
Scope of work?
Personally, myself,
see?
I don't know if we're okay with this, because now that this is before us, I think we should, each and every person should look into it and then figure out if this is everything it needs to be.
That might delay things further. than-
You've already delayed,
Applicant.
it's already delayed. You've delayed it twice now. What's the delay at this point?
Well, trying to expedite it at this point.
If you want to, I mean, if you truly wanted to expedite it, you take the word of a professional. But if you want to make sure that you have no stone unturned, then everyone's got to do their due diligence.
I think it's a balance. I think we're trying to, one, do everything we can to be respectful of the neighbors and make sure we're protecting them, but at the same time.
Absolutely. That's why they hired a professional.
We're also trying to benefit the property owner who wants to develop the property. And it's not it's not expedite it, do it as quickly as possible, but it's also not to spite that. Let's delay it as much as possible.
There's no
balance.
I'm not talking about spite at all. I'm talking about doing due diligence,
And you're going to receive another ambiguous opinion.
because there's no wells on it currently.
Right.
Well, again, I think what we're going to get from them is just letting us know, we're not necessarily going to get a different opinion. Well, we might get a different opinion, but really what we're looking for is confirmation that the ambiguous opinion that was given to us was done in good faith and borderline accurate. Yeah, with best intentions. We're not going to get somebody that says something very different. They might say, oh, no, there's a lot wrong with this, or more than likely, they're going to agree with it. But yes, we are not going to get a more specific answer. It's very.
There is going to be concerns going forward, even after this is handled. So we're trying to handle the concerns now. At what point have we handled the concerns adequately?
I believe at this point, once we get a letter back, it'll be adequate.
Do we get to interview who's interviewing
Or do they come in?
No, Kathleen will.
I mean, it just depends on how long, this is gonna take,
So we're gonna pick somebody just on time?
Not on time. I mean, I have a potential list of, we're gonna use somebody that is qualified, that's a hydrologist that has done this before. They'll have to submit, a short description of their, qualifications. But the truth is I don't think we're gonna have 5 people to pick from. I think we're, gonna make sure that whoever we send it to is qualified. And then, from those, that qualified list, if someone is available to do it or more than one person's available to do it, we'll pick it based on who's the best fit.
Is the new person going to review the report, or is he going to do an independent report?
He's gonna review the
Just
report.
review.
Use the report. It's just a second set of eyes on a report, basically. Second set of qualified eyes.
Now, just thinking outside the box, this person that gets chosen, their qualifications have to at least be equal or better than the person that's.
We're looking for someone that is a hydrologist. That's what we're looking for. I don't know she's a hydrologist and a geologist, and, her qualifications are quite high. So I'm not quite sure you're ever going to find someone that perfectly matches her, but we are looking for a hydrologist because I'm not a hydrologist. The town engineer's not a hydrologist. This is a little outside of, even the health department isn't a hydrologist, so it's we don't have anybody in-house that would be able to accurately review the report, which is why you go to a third-party consultant that does this.
All right, we're going to go to the public for a bit. Well, if you want to read over the scope of work. If there's anyone here tonight that would like to speak on this application, please raise your hand.
And just for reference, the owner is here if you guys do have any specific questions, and I do believe the applicant's attorney is online, who is raising his hand right now.
Is there any way that we can see who's online versus ourselves?
Well, Chris, I'm going to promote you to a panelist so that you can mute and unmute yourself. You can also share your face if you so desire.
I think we're allowed to anyway. I think there's, yeah. I think that's why they went to this model.
All right, well then we're going to go with the public. Come on down.
Or do you want to give that?
Chris,
attorney?
that's right.
It's on.
I didn't think they wanted to talk tonight.
I mean, they're not going to present, but we are discussing the scope of work if they have any comments related to
Tony
it.
Russo, would you like to speak first?
Well, Chair, Chris Russo with Russo and Rizzi LLC, offices at 10 Saskill Hill Road in Fairfield, here on behalf of the applicant. I hadn't planned on speaking because I thought that the hearing was just going to be continued over,
Okay.
and that both public and us would not be speaking. But if it is being open to public, the only thing I will say, as an additional point regarding this discussion regarding the scope, and if whoever is hired can be made aware of this, because this has been part of our argument, is that there's also the potential of an 8-lot conventional subdivision. And so I don't know if there's really any difference if it's 8 lots within a cluster subdivision or 8 lots within a conventional subdivision, on how that might impact their report. But I think they should be cognizant of that fact, that you still might end up with 8 wells on this property. I don't know really what difference based on what we've heard from our expert on this, in locating those 8 wells in one position or another, what difference that is going to make overall. Considering how these things hit, the different veins that she was talking about, I don't think it makes any difference, but I think it's an important thing for whoever's reviewing it to keep in mind.
They'll be made aware.
Thank you.
Okay.
Quick question. I didn't realize there was an option. I thought it was just a clustered.
It is. He's just saying that maybe in some future date, they might do a conventional subdivision.
So the way our I apologize for interrupting. The way our subdivision regulations are written is they can come in for what we consider to be a conventional subdivision. So this is an RF2 zone, which means they have to meet the RF2 regulations. So a minimum of 2-acre lots, front yard setback, side yard setback, things of that nature, the road, everything that's in our subdivision regulations. What they are proposing to do is apply the cluster development / subdivision regulations that this commission adopted at some point in this past year. And the reason that we wrote and adopted those regulations is because there were several properties that may have been coming in for a cluster subdivision. And state statutes allows commissions that if you give a third of the property over for open space, the commission has the discretion to reduce the size of the lots. Town of Monroe is really unique in the sense that we're an only septic town. And we often have residential subdivisions that have wells. So we wanted to make sure we wrote those regulations so that the kit parts, the house, the well, the site coverage, the size of the lot, the stormwater and the septic could all fit on a smaller lot. So what we did is we only applied it actually to our RF2 and RF3 regulations because we don't want to reduce our RF1 regulations, RF1 lot sizes to anything lower. So if they come in with just a conventional 2-acre development, all they have to do is meet the subdivision requirements, and this commission then has to approve it. When we wrote the cluster subdivision requirements, we added a special exception permit to give this commission more discretion to, 1, deny it, but 2, to add conditions to the approval in order to do it. So why would someone voluntarily come in and give a third of their property over to reduce the size of the lots? Reduces the size of the road. The roads are very expensive, so you shorten up your stormwater management, you shorten up the size of your stormwater practices, you shorten up how long your road is and what the cost is going to be for that. So there is benefit to the development, and then what we get in return is a much larger open space area. We can pull the wetlands out of people's backyards, which is where the majority of our violations come from for wetlands, is people not understanding they have, regulations that they have to comply with for their backyards and things of that nature. So that's the benefit of that. So they have been coming in for the cluster subdivision, but if for some reason this would get denied, they can, as of right, come in for a conventional subdivision and still divide this with 2-acre properties and have 50% of that lot be steep slopes or wetland areas. And as long as they meet the subdivision regulations, it should get approved.
And potentially how many homes would that allow for?
They have submitted a plan that shows 12. I will tell you, I don't 100% agree with the 12 because there's a lot of wetlands in areas that I think you might have some trouble with getting a wetland permit for a driveway in that proximity to it. But they're not proposing 12, they're proposing 8. So I'm very confident that they could get 8 out of a conventional subdivision. I think they would have to do a little more due diligence to really figure out what the Inland Wetland Commission would approve or be open to approving, because they are going to now have wetlands on so many of the, individual lots. So I'm not saying 12 is absolutely not possible, but they would have some obstacles, I believe, with the Inland Wetland Commission with, mitigation measures that they might have to put forward in order to get it approved.
Either way, it's going to impact the amount of water usage, especially for the neighboring wells, from the wetlands, ability to recharge the earth with the water and or more wells being drilled.
But I do believe that in a conventional subdivision, they could comfortably get 8 lots without having much impact to the wetlands and get that through the Inland Wetland Commission.
There's no public hearing for a subdivision.
And there's no public hearing for a traditional subdivision.
Okay, I think, are we ready for?
Well, and his point was he just wanted
to make sure that, and I can put that actually in the tasks, to, state a discussion on whether the idea of a conventional versus a cluster subdivision, if one has, a potential impact that the other one does not.
It was a very good explanation for everyone concerned.
Thank you. And now to the public.
Mark Lamont, 51 Downs Road. Water. I misspoke at the last meeting, just about our own situation. I just wanted to correct that. Our elevation, our wellhead was 365 feet above sea level. I think last time I said 415. I read GPS, so we have a 200-foot deep well. So the bottom, we're drawing water from, do the math, 365 minus 200, 165 feet below, or above sea level, which is well below the grade of the homes in this proposed subdivision. So I just feel in my gut that somehow they're tapping water that we're already tapping. I have no proof, and that was my second point, is that with all due respect to the hydrogeologist that was here, she didn't really have any proof either, because she pulled her assessment from what I understand to be old data and maps and so forth. Her study wasn't really complete about the whole neighborhood where we live. And she did state a lot of very generic water principles, like the 85% recharge rate. God, I only hope that nobody's drinking my septic water and that I'm recharging Samantha's house down the road from us. So anyway, with that, I thank you for considering a reassessment of that work and possibly even going beyond that, because there's been no scientific research or any kind of studies done. So I'll leave it at that, and then I'll ask you to please read. I think he submitted a letter today. I don't know the man, but there's a gentleman out there named Bryant Abbott. He grew up in the Webb Mountain area. He lives in Trumbull now, but he's partial to the area. His family donated or sold very cheaply 65 acres of land up in the Webb Mountain area to the town of Monroe. So it's open space forever. So he's passionate about Webb Mountain and our environment. He wrote an article that was in the Sun today. And I'm saying read his stuff because he's much more knowledgeable than I am. So read what he wrote in the Sun. It's an editorial. And then he did write a letter to the commission. I think it was received today. He's very well written, and he seems to be very knowledgeable about the whole water process and things that should possibly be considered for next steps. So with that, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
And another resident did actually ask for that letter to the editor to be submitted in public record, so it is actually in your material.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify to anyone of the public that might be listening. Facebook posts, letters to the editor need to be submitted here to be considered. Nothing on Facebook. We can't go and troll Facebook and figure things out. We can't go read in it. It's got to be submitted. So it's great that was submitted and is being considered, but just for your own knowledge in the future, consider that.
May I submit? Sorry.
Oh,
May I submit, or can I ask Brian to submit?
oh no, it's been
It's already submitted.
It has been submitted, but I just wanted to clarify, make sure people are aware of that, because I know that comes up sometimes. You know, people are like, oh, well, if you look on Facebook, it's like, yeah, we can't do that. It's got to be presented to us here.
Okay, any other members of the public here? Come on down.
My name is Samantha Thera. I reside at 5 Sunrise Terrace here in Monroe. I just have a few things. I wanted to pull some things out of Terry Rooney, the first selectman's letter to the governor. Office of the Governor, Ned Lamont. It was posted on the town's website dated June 10th, 2025, in regard to increasing the town's affordable homes. And some of his statements, I feel like, apply to this cluster subdivision that we're discussing. Point 1, currently Monroe is experiencing space needs in our schools, and the additional mandated family units will put a pressure on our enrollment that the school district cannot accommodate. And I can submit this, you can look at it. He made it well, put it out there. Point 3, the population increase will put unnecessary pressure on our emergency services. I know that EMS has already signed off on it, but I just bring that to your attention because he's the first selectman and he's also saying it. These 4 and 5 are the points that I'm most focused on. 4, the historic nature of Monroe will be significantly threatened as we currently already struggle to hold on to Monroe's remaining colonial New England charm. 5, Monroe relies primarily on septic systems with no access to sewers, providing significant barriers to complying with the increased residential development. Compliance with the bill's mandates may be technically infeasible without considerable investments in new utility infrastructure. So again, I realize this was in regard to a bill that was being, Governor Lamont he ended up vetoing HB 5002. I realize that's not why we're here. It's just that these points that the selectman makes, I think can be applied to our current situation because a lot of the concerns of the neighbors are septic well issues and maintaining Monroe's charm. Because it is a charming place. When I first came here, I thought, oh my gosh, I could only imagine living in a town like that. And, now that we do here, I feel like we are here. I'm hanging on. I'm trying to hang on to what made my husband and I move here in the first place. I will say, I do hope that you will have an independent person. No one is trying to suggest that the hydrogeologist or geologist that the developer hired isn't smart, doesn't know what she's talking about. No one is insinuating that she is not of merit. However, someone who is paid by the developer, you can imagine, isn't going to be as independent as, say, an independent person would be. Same with Mr. Tuttle, the well driller. Now, our well company has told us that we may be negatively impacted. He said it was off the record, he made that comment because he doesn't want to be sued. So, I mean, maybe you view that as hearsay, but I can only tell you what we were told. Our well person also told us that our well was built prior to 1974, which is when I think the wells became on record. So my husband and I purchased our home here in Monroe, February 2016. We had a home inspection. We were first-time home buyers. We didn't know all about wells and well inspections, et cetera. Nobody told us where the well was, which, as I've testified before, is underneath our paved driveway, to where there's a soft kind of gravel on top, a part of the driveway, and they literally have to dig that out each time they want to access the well. Mr. Tuttle also said that no, you wouldn't get a mortgage if you didn't have like a record of a well inspection, because we're not on the hydrogeologist map either. Because of this reason, our well was built before 74. My point is, my husband and I got a mortgage, no problem. There were no questions that we had to answer about wells, et cetera. So again, in the spirit of everything wasn't exactly done right in our area, this is why we are so concerned about the wells. It's obviously not just the wells, but the wells. It's our whole lives. What do you have if you don't have clean potable water? I mean, it's a major concern. I have a lot of other things that I typed up, but I think you guys have already gotten the gist of what we're all about. But I would hope that you could get an independent consultant just to assuage our fears that the current hydrogeologist and well digger who stand to gain financially from this project, this development, that their testimony would be the only testimony. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, on down.
Aren't they paying for the next one too?
They're representing us. They're independent in that respect.
He's kind of done.
Also, it's semantics.
My name is Paula Jelly. I live at 290 Cottage Street. 1564 Monroe Turnpike surrounds me on three sides. I'm especially concerned about clear cutting of trees that both the commissioner and the developer spoke about clear cutting at the last public hearing. Exactly what areas are they clear cutting? The more clear cutting, the higher risk of water runoff. In the first application with planning and zoning, the developer offered installing a French drain to protect my property from water runoff. But when the developer came back, the next public hearing, the drawings showed a swale. Swales are good for gentle sloping land, but not steep slopes. Homes 3, 4, and 5 are not built on a gentle slope. Contour swales might hold too much water in super rainy climates. Connecticut receives an average annual precipitation of approximately 48 inches. I can remember several years ago, we received 65 inches. You don't build for the average, you build for the high end of the scale. I have attached in my submission a report from NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, their National Centers for Environmental Information, state climate summaries from 2022. On the green maps, the green portion shows the average. The black spikes these are graphs of rain over 2 inches. This is what you need to protect my home from. The 1 inches, no big deal. But the scale goes up to 6 days a year. The top map starts from 1950. This is for the last 5 years. You need to protect me from up to 6 days a year of 2 inches of rain in a day. Also, in my research of a French drain versus a swale, I have a French drain at my house. I have a retaining wall. At the center point, it's about 4.5 feet high, and it angles down to maybe about 1.5 feet at the very end. It may be 78, 80 feet wide. I haven't actually measured, I'm just guessing here. And there's a French drain behind that retaining wall. And there's a pipe that is catching, there's gravel behind the wall. It's catching all the water that comes off that hill from homes 4 and 5. And then it leads out to a pipe, at the bottom of the gravel, of the 5 feet of wall, there's a pipe that catches that water and moves it to a different area. Now, a swale is designed to slow down the water, so it actually percolates in the earth where it is. So you need to protect, you need to move the water away. If you're cutting down all these trees, more water is going to come off that hill. So you actually need to have a French drain to move the water. Where's my map? This is their mark of the swale. And if that just percolates the water down, it's still coming into my property. Because water just isn't coming down in my property on the surface. It's coming down. The whole ground is a river of water. And by proof of that is when we had that big storm, there was so much water, it came up underneath my house and cracked my cellar basement floor. So I would encourage you to insist on a French drain. And if somebody tries to convince you a French drain is a swale and a swale is a French drain, it's not. And if they mismark their drawings as a swale, when it finally gets built, if somebody just sees, if a person building it sees the word swale, when it really needs to be a French drain, they're going to just fill the ditch. A ditch is not going to protect me. A French drain is going to protect me. How close to the property line will heavy equipment be used? I'm concerned about my hemlock trees near my southeastern and southwestern property lines. Since eastern hemlocks have shallow, fibrous, mat-like systems to spread out horizontally, providing good surface area for water and mineral absorption. This shallow root system makes them susceptible to injury from logging. Are they going to do logging close to my property line? I've shown this map to you before about the stone walls. And the stone walls that I'm most concerned about, in the town of Monroe protects stone walls. On page 22 of the subdivision regulations, point Y. Stone walls are recognized as historical natural values of field constructed stone walls, common in and around the town of Monroe. All stone walls on a subdivision site shall be mapped. Whereas feasible, stone walls shall be preserved as found on site or shall be relocated on site. So the road is going to come in actually over here. So, and there's a lot of construction going on here. What are they doing with these stone walls here and here? Because this is in some property homes on their, I forget what home numbers those are. What are they gonna do about those stone walls? In the previous application, planning and zoning, or IWC, the developer had to post a bond for the road, and now I see they have to post a bond for the drainage system. Could there be a bond or an escrow account be put aside for the neighbors just in case their wells were impacted? Thank you very much for your consideration.
And thank you, Mrs. Jelly. Do we have anyone else tonight? Come on down.
Brian Theoret, 5 Sunrise Terrace. I'll be quick. A lot of things have already been said. But just one question I had is if our wells did run dry, would somebody be able to clarify like who's responsible, or like who has the responsibility if our existing wells do run dry, if this did move forward? That's just one question I had. Another item regarding public safety and infrastructure overload. I know somebody mentioned something about infrastructure overload, but if approved, it just seems like this would potentially create a dangerous intersection and traffic hazard on an already unsafe roadway, while placing strain on already overburdened public services like schools, fire, police, roadworks. I just wanted to bring that up. That is still a concern that hasn't been talked about too much. And then I think everything else has been, everything else has basically been, everything that's been said, I agree with. I appreciate the, and hope that it does go forward with an independent hydrogeological analysis. It just seems like to avoid any sort of, or to avoid as many questions with the current one that was done, just to, I'm not being very clear, but basically, I just want to make sure that there's no like conflict of interest or anything like that, and that it is an independent review. So that's basically it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have anyone online that would like to comment on this application?
There's somebody there.
Oh. Doesn't look like anyone online.
There
Then
was someone that had their hand raised and then they put it down. So let's take the person in the audience and then can we ask that question one more time just to make sure?
Thank you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Donna Cockle from 26 Manor Drive. I do hope that you guys all decide to go ahead with the independent hydrogeologist to come in and take a look at the report. My biggest concern is I was reviewing the last couple of meetings because I had remembered at one point in the initial September 4th meeting, when the hydrogeologist was discussing about the water, the wells. And I know initially she was talking more about the new wells. And then everyone said, well, what about the existing wells? And she was focusing a lot on shallow wells. Then at 1 hour and 35 minutes into the meeting, she did make a comment saying that she could not say if there would be any interference to an existing well uphill of the proposed development. She used an example that if there was a 500-foot deep well uphill of the development, it could be an issue if a new well is drilled downhill. So she was saying the uphill one is 500 feet down, the downhill one is 200. They could be tapping into the same water. And she could not say that there would not be an issue with the uphill well. So if you guys want to go review that meeting, you can hear what she said. So I'm getting no reassurance that the people who are uphill and have deep wells will not have issues when these wells go in. When Mr. Tuttle came in, he also was talking about, he did not discuss the deep wells that were uphill at all and how they would be affected. So I just feel like that part's kind of been left out, and that there's a lot of deep wells on Manor and Crown View, and anybody can go and see that and check that out. And I hope that you guys do the research and that we can feel good if this ends up getting going through, that we can sleep at night and not worry that our water's going to go dry. I was just kind of thinking today that, what if city water was brought down there? And maybe it's not all put on the developer. I don't know if there's other people along 111 who would maybe be willing to, maybe Stevenson or other property owners who would maybe kind of consider that, bring the water down and have that in the development if it goes through. So that was just a thought. Let me see. Yeah, I also had the question of who would be responsible if a wells do run dry down the road. Is that the town? Is it the developer? Who would be responsible for that? I think that's a bit of it. So I hope that, everybody thinks of it when you're thinking about whether you guys want to have an independent person come in. Think if your house was there and you were one of the people who were concerned, how would you vote? So that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now back to the people online.
Yes, someone has their hand
Please
up.
raise your hand if you'd like to address the commission on this application.
I love this pen, but I can't.
Going once?
Someone is,
Yes.
Oh, please
Can you
see
hear me?
someone, all right.
yes, we can.
Okay,
Lisa.
perfect. I'm glad. I'm on Crown View. I'm at 100 Crown View. My name is Jason Tufeld. I've lived in the Monroe community for over 3 years now. I don't know how much awareness there's been to the fact that the uphill properties are low yield as far as water. We've had 3 properties, 47 Crown View, 77 Crown View, and 84 Crown View, all had wells run dry in the last few weeks and months. I don't know if that's part of this hydrogeologist reporting. I doubt that they did any kind of survey to identify how much water is in the aquifer above ground. My concern, and I'm not a professional, is a cone of depression. Being uphill, any property that's downhill, based on their usage, could create a cone of depression. And if that does happen, it will absolutely affect our water table. So I would like to be the third to ask about liability. Is it the town? Is it the developer? It's I lean towards risk aversion here. I hope this board does the same. And I think that's the need for an independent hydrogeologist who will go in, look at the data that was used to create this reporting. Because my understanding, as one of the first gentlemen said, Some of the data used was based on well information from 40 to 50 years ago. I think it was before my parents met, and I'm 42. So I have a lot of concerns about using aged information. And my my last job that I was at for 7 years, I'm currently unemployed, but my last job was in data. And I can tell you that if you're using bad data, the output from that data is also going to be bad. It will not be representative of truth. And I just don't know how this committee in good faith can trust a hydrogeologist hired by a developer who clearly has an agenda, and would obviously like to see their property go through for the obvious reasons. That's not to say that that data, that the conclusions aren't correct, but I don't know how you can ask us as a community, quite frankly, to trust it. So as a, a member of this community who has an uphill, deep well, definitely on the same aquifer, you know, if you're impacting our water table, and we already know that we're pressed for water, and, you know, obviously the weather in the last few months has really not been conducive to be able to replenish that supply. What are we asking everyone uphill, in, you know, in the coming years when there's more properties downhill? So that's really all I have to say. I want to be brief, but I I I also don't think there were any assurances to anyone that was uphill, particularly the deep wells, as was previously noted. And thank you for your time.
And thank you. All right, one more time. If there's anyone online that would like to comment, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, then we'll go back to Attorney Russo.
Chair, Commissioners, I'll hold, you know, most of my responses to the next hearing, because this is being kept open, just so I can get them all in one hearing. But I will just say, I understand that the neighbors just want this piece left as is, and they don't want to see it touched. But I don't understand the logic when staff has said that an 8-lot subdivision could be done conventionally here, and that is permitted as of right. Choosing that option over this, which reduces clear cutting. There was a comment about clear cutting. A conventional 2-acre subdivision with 8 lots is going to clear cut a significant amount of trees. And the requirement for a swale, there will be no requirement for a swale in a conventional subdivision application. But for a cluster subdivision where there's special permit, it's something where we can offer that as a condition of approval. So I don't understand the logic. I think our expert, you know, we have full faith in our experts' testimony, both Karen and Jody, and his experience in town, that this site can support the 8 wells. But at the end of the day, if it's not an 8-lot cluster subdivision, I think staff has indicated that it would be an 8-lot conventional subdivision, and I don't see how that is better for the surrounding neighborhood, and for you know, the open space that's there. The conventional subdivision requirements for open space are 15%. This is over 50% that's being provided. So I don't understand the logic of the argument from the neighbors on that. But I'll reserve to respond to all the comments, and I'm sure future comments that come through between now and November 6th.
Thank you, Attorney Russo.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioners.
Do we have any? All right, so we're going to hold this over then. Thank you.
So it will be continued to November 6th.
Your
Yes.
site development plan. Well, perhaps Kathleen could better explain
Yes.
than I can.
So this is 64 Cambridge Drive, Section 4, the cul-de-sac, which you guys saw at the last meeting and voted on at the last meeting. After that, we gathered all of our information for town council, The attorney, Lito, our town attorney, gave a review and said that he felt like it needed to be more clear that in addition to our subdivision regulations 11-202G and the subdivision regulations, that this was also being reviewed under the Connecticut General Statutes 8-24 for a referral to the town council for the acceptance of the road. So it was really just from a legal perspective, he wanted to make sure that it was very clear on the record that it's an 8-24 review as well.
All right, so we'll do it again.
None and again.
So we're going to vote to recommend that town council accept the 64 Cambridge Drive dead-end street we did last meeting. But what are we going to do extra?
What?
What are we going to do extra this time?
Just that we're making it very clear that this is under
8-24.
Connecticut General Statutes 8-24.
All right,
Just a second.
then we'll each shall entertain a motion.
Motion to approve SUB 2015-02, file number 1257C, 64 Cambridge Drive, section 4, the cul-de-sac. And it's an 824 referral.
Okay, motion by Mayini. And the second?
Second, Condon.
Second by Condon. Call the roll, starting on my right.
Yeah, well,
No, Dominic Smirka.
Everybody
Dominic
can vote.
no, I know.
Dominic
It's the
Panicia.
only seated member. So technically Panicia is seated for the meeting.
Oh, yeah, for the meeting.
We only seated
Merge goes to-
Marino for
He's on the last one.
1564 because he started it. So for the record, yes, it's going to be Panicia.
Okay, we'll start with Commissioner Panici.
Oh, I'm seated.
You are.
Commissioner Panitia, yes.
Condon, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayne, yes.
Westland, yes.
Okay, so the motion passes. We will recommend a favorable referral on this
There's nothing
acceptance
left.
of 64 Cambridge Drive. All right, moving on.
Wait, didn't we just see Panitia because Westland wasn't here, but then Westland showed up?
Yeah, but he would still take Leon's
But
spot.
then
He's taking
oh,
Leon's.
all right, just wondering.
And just to be clear, Leon's not, he's not coming back.
That's correct. So, all right, pending deliberations and determination. First one we have is 909 Main Street. That was the zone boundary change. I understand from the staff that we can deliberate on this and close it tonight if we so desire.
Yeah, we can deliberate, close it.
All right. How does one and all feel on this application? This is a zone change from industrial to B2.
It's a no-brainer.
Yes,
In favor?
let's go.
All right. Then shall I entertain a motion.
The request would be for a motion to approve with an effective date of October 31st.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve ZCA 2025-02, file number 1032909 Main Street, effective October 2nd, 2025.
motion by,
With an effective date of October 31st.
Okay, effective date October 3rd.
Pass.
okay, we have a motion.
Apologize.
Second.
Motion, second, Westland. We have any discussion?
Mm-mm.
If not, we'll start we'll call the roll. Am I right?
Panitia, yes.
Condon, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayne, yes.
Westland, yes.
Okay, motion passes. Congratulations. Second, SCP 2025. This is 1565 Monroe Turnpike. The wholesale distribution center at Old Stevenson Lumber property. How are we feeling on this? Can we deliberate on this tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I'll make the motion.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve SCP 2025-06 file 16701565 Monroe Turnpike, Unit 2, as proposed.
Second.
Motion Condon, second Mayini. We'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Panitia, yes.
Condon, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayne, yes.
Westland, yes.
Okay, it's unanimous, motion passes.
You're talking up to me now.
Okay. Going to new applications.
Sit on the floor.
We received an application for an amendment to 571 and 587 Pepper Street. This was approved in 2021, maybe beginning of 2022 for an industrial building. It was an L-shaped building. They're looking to separate the two buildings, basically both lengths of the L with a 10-foot path in between and the sidewalk. It was just over, there's no major changes to the exterior, things like that, but it was still over the scope of what could be approved as a minor site plan approval application. So this will be coming back in front of the commission for an amendment, and they will be here at the next meeting in order to present.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Also, we did just receive, after this agenda was done, 83 Hattertown, which is a 2-lot subdivision, it's technically a re-subdivision, so it needs to be noticed for a public hearing, which will be noticed on the 6th. That will be on the agenda as well.
Okay, meeting minutes, 10/2/25. Y'all have meeting minutes before you. Chair will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as drafted.
Motion to accept the minutes on 10/2/25
Motion
as
by
drafted.
Mayini. Second.
Second, Condon.
Second by Condon. Is there any discussion or changes?
I don't see any.
Hearing none, we'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Yes.
Condon, yes. Condon, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayini, yes.
Westland, yes.
Okay, meetings are accepted. Planning and zoning matters, we do need to schedule a subcommittee meeting. Do you want to do this, I imagine, before you leave?
Yes, so we have gotten actually 4 now requests to come in front of subcommittee, and because I have had pre-application meetings with everybody, my preference would be that if we could do this before I leave, that would be my preference. I think I put forward potential dates of next week, which would be Wednesday or Thursday at 5:30, or we could do our traditional Monday at 5:30. It would just have to be on the 27th because it's just going to be too hard for everybody to get.
I could do Wednesday or Thursday. I can't do Monday.
Thursday, the 23rd.
Yeah.
Week from today. How does that sound to?
Sure.
At 5:30?
Yes.
Or we could.
Mike's bringing pizza?
I didn't hear that.
Oh.
All right, so we'll do the 23rd, 5:30.
Nicole's on pizza.
I may not be able to.
Oh. That's great. As soon as everyone hears about pizza, no one can come anymore.
All right, correspondence, I have none. Commissioner reports? Anyone?
Did you say Wednesday, the 23rd?
Thursday, the
30. Thursday. You said Thursday.
Thursday, the 23rd. Right, so Wednesday or Thursday?
Are you in 2025?
Week from today, so Thursday the 23rd.
Thursday, the 20th.
Well, he said Wednesday. So Wednesday's the
No,
20th.
because sometimes your calendar moves.
You want to do the 23rd, Thursday, correct?
I don't have a preference, whatever more people can come
Okay,
to.
so we're going, but
I just can't do Monday. I could do
so
whatever.
Thursday, okay?
Sure.
A week from today. That's what I said. Yes? Week
Yes.
from today, all right, 5:30.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we have at least 4 people. That makes it, that's good, okay. The 23rd at 5:30.
I know you're done. You're not gonna catch anything.
Okay.
You're gonna catch seaweed.
Wednesday, October 23rd at 5:30, next meeting, good.
You
All
can
right,
see
do we
it's
have
out.
anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Correspondence.
Oh.
It's my last meeting.
Oh.
See
Congrats.
you guys in February.
The baby.
We have interim planner who will be attending in person. She will also be at town hall on Mondays for the majority, if not the entirety of the day. So William Holsworth, who is an economic director, as well as oversees the land use department, is going to help direct traffic as needed. And same thing with Thomas Noonan, our zoning enforcement officer, is also going to do the same thing, direct things as needed. Also, our office manager, Christy Riley, has her, hands in everything because literally things don't function without her. So CC her on anything and everything. And she's also going to be helping directing traffic. So you guys will be in good hands. It's also the holiday season. So here's hoping that.
When are you going to be back?
End of January.
February then.
Yeah, so I'll see you guys in February for the February meetings.
Super Bowl.
All
for the Super Bowl.
You'll see us for the Super Bowl.
See if you have any bus.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Wait, is there anything
I have
else?
a motion.
Okay.
Second. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. We adjourn now.